Okay, guys, so we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Meetings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly editor-in-chief today, because today we're carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing the Marvel Multiverse Role-Playing Game, published by Marvel. And we are playing a campaign, or a series, called Uncanny X Factor. We're playing an event called the Apocalypse Agenda. And we are just kicking off the second chapter in this, the book of Pestilence. And with me today are the stars of our campaign and the members of Uncanny X Factor. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got John.
Everyone, I'm John, and I'm playing everyone's favorite card-carrying Crazy Cajun, Gambit.
Very nice. Next up is Darren.
Hello there, I'm playing Bobby Drake, who's a cool customer, better known as Iceman.
Very nice. And last but certainly not least is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing the better Summers brother, Havoc.
Very nice. Introductions worthy of Stan Lee. So, guys, this Gambit and Iceman were not here for our last session. So let's first start with we'll go back to Damocles' base, and we'll talk about what happened last time.
Last thing Gambit remembers is you were fighting some sentinels or robots, one of those things.
Sentries. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Those giant robots all look the same to him.
Yeah. So, what do you got? Oh, Havoc, what do you recall from last time?
Okay, so we managed to defeat the Kree sentries, even though we couldn't find Gambit or Iceman anywhere. Just kidding. And then we went to the where we went exactly part. We went to the castle? Or the
Palace of the Royal Family.
And I don't remember what we saw. Is that where the cameras were? Or did we go somewhere else to see the...
No, so the Royal Family Hall was empty, but you went to a security office within there, and that's where...
Oh, that's where it was. It was in the palace, yeah. We accessed some of their computers, and we kind of got to see a little bit of what happened. And, oh man... The girl, I don't know the girl's name.
Songbird is
Songbird. We saw the footage of Songbird arriving, and oh man, Thunderbolt? No,
Black Bolt.
Black Bolt. I don't know why I always think Thunderbolt. Black Bolt flew up to confront her, and she seemed to mind control, do something to his mind, and he screamed, and his scream is what created the dome or something with her power.
No, reverberated around the dome. His scream, though, is what eradicated.
Killed everybody. Yeah, that's what I was getting to. So that's what happened to everybody. And we saw that... Was it after that? Apocalypse showed up?
So after the reverberations appear to have continued on for quite some time, for several days, and then it was several days.
They died down,
yeah.
We saw him show up, and he came to the Terrigen lab. I'm not sure exactly what the order of operations, but he seems to have taken all the Terrigen crystals.
Right.
And then we saw that, and then we used the computer to sort of locate Doom, and he was on his way to the Terrigen caves. We saw him leaving the lab and heading to the caves, and so we went to the caves to rendezvous with him and have a little parlay. We were just figured that he was up to the same thing as us, and so we were hoping to ally with him, and he did not like us very much, and basically told us we're insignificant in this fight and that we should just leave it to Doom because he's going to save humanity, and us little X-Men or whatever we're calling ourselves are just in his way. And so basically that's what he said. I'm paraphrasing him, but he didn't like us. And then he left. Did he take the dome down?
No, but the dome did dissipate, which allowed you guys had contact, and then you learned what had happened outside.
Yeah. Oh, that was what happened right at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd forgotten about that.
Did we find out why the refugees had come to the moon, or?
I hadn't looked into that yet, but it did, from the video footage, it could very well have been every Inhuman on Earth from all the other cities relocated. It wouldn't have been the first time that the Inhumans have had to relocate, though, because the whole reason they were on the moon in the first place was because of the way their biology, their very unusual biology, was interacting with pollutants in Earth's atmosphere.
We ever find out why Songbird was like turned into liquid metal or made into a statue or something?
The assumption is Apocalypse. Bobby could tell you that looks exactly like what happened to Warren, the Angel, after he was taken, and Gambit, you would have direct experience with that. It's the Apocalypse's access to celestial technology. That's what allows him to, in part, fabricate these horsemen.
Yeah, basically she was, we think she's one of the horsemen.
Yeah.
That's the way I would put it.
Yeah, you did recover her body afterwards, too. When the dome collapsed, remember the liquid metal released her?
Oh, yeah, okay. So, then, right at the end, we were contacted by, oh man.
Emma
Stone. Frost, sorry, the diamond lady.
Yeah.
And she contacted us and informed us that all of our friends and fellow psychics, they weren't killed, correct, Kev? They were put into some kind of weird sleep?
No, they died.
Oh, they did die?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't clear if they were dead or if they were, like, basically brain dead.
She did use a euphemism. She said they were gone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that is an easy... I know I forgot to load the image for it, too, but that, guys, is the Unimind. That is the sum collective of psychic and cosmic power of Earth's Eternals. It is a gestalt form that they can manifest. And that's what they said was had drawn their attention, and it was that thing's death that sent effectively a pulse through the telepaths, and they died. And that's where we left things. So at the end of...
Where did the Unimind come from? Do we know?
Unimind, it's not clear. The Unimind is a manifestation of the Eternals that you would know, having reviewed Richard's notes. It is something that certainly the Earthborn Eternals, but presumably others can do as well. Actually, I don't even know that. I don't know if it's something unique to the Earth Eternals or not. But in any event, what it does is it merges all their bodies and minds and whatnot into one thing. It seems as if all the Eternals went in and then died.
Oh.
Which would leave the Eternals, Deviants, and the Inhumans all gone.
Like somebody wiped the slate.
Yeah.
It's like only the humans and the mutants that are left.
Correct.
And the powerful telepaths got knocked out. So it's what it feels like is somebody's knocking out forms of communication.
And to be clear, that is Xavier and Jean.
And Quentin Quire and the Stepford Cuckoos, and Emma is stuck in her diamond form currently. because she did it as almost an instinctive reaction to it. The only reason she survived, she can't use her telepathic powers when she's in her diamond form. If you look at
her alive, basically.
Yeah. So if you look at this, we were talking about the 3 races created by or species created by the Celestials. 2 have been utterly eliminated, and then the one effort by the alien Kree to recreate the Eternals, likewise, seemingly eliminated now. Does leave an open question of what might have happened to hybrids. Like, for instance, Quicksilver. Quicksilver's daughter, Luna, is a daughter of a mutant and a Eternal, Crystal.
Right.
There was also mention on the way back of a message from him, from Apocalypse.
Oh. That
You didn't hear what it was yet, though.
Oh, we didn't hear it. That's why I'm like, I don't remember what the message was.
No. You haven't heard it yet. All right. Bobby and Remy, any questions?
Nope. Seems terrible.
Yeah, it seems wonderfully terrible, right?
Yeah.
Sounds pretty grim, yeah.
Again,
I
it's
find too.
Freaking grim.
Remy,
Welcome
if you thought that you would, you would think to look for reasoning for why the Inhumans all came to Adelan, that's totally fine that you would be doing that.
Yeah.
We would see you going through, the thing, and yeah, like you would see footage of tons of like refugee ships that are arriving, transporting people from there, and it appears that there was not an illness, but something seems to have happened on Earth that has led to the mass departure of the Inhumans. So, we'll open our scene, and this is going to be a month afterwards. So we're going to talk about what's happened in the intervening time since our last issue. We are back on Damocles' base, but Damocles' base seems substantially empty. You may remember this was the Uncanny X-Factor team was set up as a kind of liaison team, something akin to the Unity Squad that was the Uncanny Avengers, or the purpose of the original X-Factor to work with humanity more directly. A lot of support staff seem to be gone from here.
Guessing it was many of the psychically sensitive ones that are no longer with us.
Does appear that there's nobody from Sword or Shield with you any longer. If you were to guess, it does appear that the staff on Damocles' base is exclusively mutants now. You'd be sitting in your boardroom looking out at the Earth, Sword's base, Kang's former headquarters, drifting over here, and we would see you replaying the message from Apocalypse once again, something that was broadcast across every wavelength, on every device, typical comic book stuff. Everyone everywhere got to see it in their native tongue and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I'm going to paraphrase because I didn't want to write it out and then try and read it out either. And I don't think I do a very good Apocalypse voice, so I didn't want to do that either. The cartoon has really set the bar high for the Apocalypse voice. So what he has said is, you can picture his, that strange, almost like tattooed face, looking at almost like a Mayan statue come to life, appear, and he would have said something akin to humanity. Judgment is coming. And I have prepared for our assessment. Humanity must prove itself worthy of this world. I have rid it of competitors, the Eternals, the Deviants, the Inhumans. Gone. Humanity. Your time is at hand. 5 years is what I grant you. All who hear this, all who live, who are not Homo superior, you will be dead in 5 years. My apocalypse plague has ensured it. And I offer you this mercy. Your children, those born in your final hours, will be free of my plague. In those 5 years, you will decide how Homo Superior will treat your survivors. Mutants, you must now prove yourself worthy. Humanity, we have killed you. And how will you spend your waning days? Seeking a cure? There is none. Seeking revenge? Try. Asking forgiveness and kneeling before your superiors. Mutants, how will you face your persecutors? May the strong survive. And we would then see footage of smoldering holes where the Baxter Building, Avengers Mansion, the West Coast Avengers compound, the raft were located. It appears that Apocalypse wanted to ensure that humanity, non-mutants, would not have their champions to draw on. The Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the Thunderbolts. You've known that the Ultimates have been missing. It is part of the reason you were co-opted into this job in the first place.
Right.
They're all dead. Humanity in the past month has been difficult. All tests have confirmed. You may recall a time when something called the legacy virus was afflicting mutant kind, killing them in terrible ways, forcing their powers to turn against them. Colossus isn't with us today, but it was Colossus who sacrificed himself in order to cure that virus. But he was dead for a time. And there were a number of, I mean, to be honest, not really important mutants. There's like one guy I could think of who died of the legacy virus. One of Psylocke's clones as well, the Quanon, she died of the legacy virus, but it's otherwise like kind of nameless mutants. I stand to be corrected on that, but I don't remember anyone of consequence. Pyro got the legacy virus. That's the only real like mutant of name. But you can imagine it would have cut a swath through the population. other
Right.
surviving scientists, and the brilliant mutants among you, like what's his name, Dr. Nemesis, would have confirmed somehow in a similar way to there was that virus that wiped through the deviants. Likewise, humanity is infected. And that means that is inclusive of everything in utero. It also confirms that children conceived afterwards, after his demand, are not. And so there will be a generation of children between 5 and, newborn. But it seems that whatever happened to the deviants will likewise trigger Terrigen plague, if you will. That appears to be what Apocalypse wanted from Adelan. It appears that there was a similar thing, not quite as virulent, that was going through the Inhuman population, which is why they all evacuated to Adelan. The similar thing that they were experiencing in the city of Adelan, the Great Refuge, was going through the Inhumans, which led them to all relocate to there, and then to ultimately their doom. Speaking of doom, no sign of him since Adelan. A month, and silence in response to Apocalypse's pronouncement.
I mean, if he bothered to take out the Fantastic Four, I mean, he's not going to ignore Doom. Doom's a threat, too.
You would think. He must be hiding.
Yeah. There was no similar strike on Latveria. There was an attack on Latveria, the Doom's country, and Doomstad, the capital city. He did not suffer too long over renaming that. I think there is a canonical name for it too. I just don't remember what it is. It's mentioned in the Doom 2099 comic, but in any event,
as far as we know, Doom is human, right?
Doom is human. Well,
so just as much.
Let's be fair. Doom is Doom.
Yeah, but he's got just as much of a risk of contracting whatever this plague is too. So
precisely,
he's probably isolated himself somewhere off planet.
Well, and would that he survived. Stark would have likewise, if he was in his suit. James Rhodes as well would have survived in the War Machine thing, but West Coast Avengers and the Avenger compound and the Avengers Mansion annihilated. It's worth noting too, the attack that was on those locations, that's not the attack that was on Doomstad. That's not the attack that was made on Wakanda. Wakanda likewise. T'Challa, the entire royal family, seemingly gone.
Right.
All this seems to be just way too much for just even Apocalypse to pull off. There's something going on. This is probably what Gambit's been trying to figure out in the entire month.
What about Bobby and Alex?
I think he'd be looking for smarter people than him to tell him what to do, really. He'd be trying to keep upbeat, but struggling with that. His jokes would be landing flat. Yeah, he'd be trying to probably turn to havoc for, what are we going to do?
Perhaps unsurprisingly, the tension between... I'm just going to use the word humanity rather than for humanity as opposed to mutants, because that's just probably an easier way to say it. But unsurprisingly, humanity seems to have turned against mutants. So the last few weeks have seen massive spikes in violence on mutant communities on Earth. And so either Krakoa or Damocles Base have seen upticks. Some of the mutant hate groups as well, like the Friends of Humanity, have seen massive spikes of influence. And there is who has it's Gambit, you're the one with the underworld connections, right? It's one of your traits.
Criminal.
Okay. You've heard as well that there is someone who seems to be like basically every old, hate group, like the Sons of the Serpent and the Watchdogs. They all seem to be coalescing with Friends of Humanity in a way that is directed, specifically towards that. And there's even rumors you've heard that there is a organizer who is seeing more public support for that. His name is Johann Schmidt, but you may know him better as the Roth Shadel or the Red Skull. He's not made himself manifest, but that is what you are hearing.
Yay, Nazis and new forums.
What about you, Havoc? One thing we mentioned before you got on, Jeff, actually, is that we were joking about the in-universe explanation, if you weren't able to play today, was Scott. Scott had a telepathic connection to your brother, to Jean, and there was a time when he was intimate with Emma as well, physically and telepathically. He also had a link to her.
Right.
He has effectively been in a coma since the death of the Unimind.
Yeah, I mean, I always think there's kind of two sides a little bit to the character, and one side is sort of this like a little bit uncontrolled rage almost, and so he goes from this sort of peaceful professor side to this sort of like raw nerve of just death, like he'll. And so I think he's almost sort of flipped that switch a little bit. He's sort of not that, nice leading professor anymore. I think he's just angry, and he wants Apocalypse to pay. And so, he's probably just been talking about killing Apocalypse. How are we going to kill? If you guys are like, we need a plan. No, we need to kill him. We need to find a way to kill him. Like, he's just like, vengeance is sort of his,
So I think there's a bit of undertone to Gambit for that as well, but he always tries to mask it under his cool, suave exterior, making jokes. But yeah, he's right there with Havoc.
Yeah.
As far as the X-Men are concerned, Storm is likely trying to split duties between her commitments to the X-Men and as former Queen of Wakanda to try and support them through the loss of their regions.
Yeah.
Charles is gone. Eric, I suppose, is still here. So Magneto is still here.
You're talking about good Magneto or old Magneto?
This is Council of Krakoa Magneto, which means that he is dedicated to mutant kind.
Okay, let's turn him on Red Skull. That should solve the problem.
Yeah, there's a really there's a great so during the Acts of Vengeance arc, there's a great Captain America issue where Magneto, they try and team up. They're like, oh, we'll put all the bad guys together, and then Magneto's like, wait, you're the fucking Nazi? So rather than teaming up with him, he takes him, he puts him in a bunker and leaves him to starve to death.
Oh my goodness.
It's fucking crazy.
Like Magneto's got a few redeeming qualities, and the Nazi thing is one of them.
So what? Eric, that may be his obsession right now. Another thing that is part of the Krakoa experience. So one of the gifts that came from the Krakoa time was basically that mutants couldn't die because of a combination of different mutants working their power together. They were able to basically anyone who died, they would be able to bring them back. Any mutant. That has broken down in part because one key part of that was Charles and his use of Cerebro to constantly back up mutant minds. That is now gone. And curiously, all the members of that sort of crucible of those who make it, they all seemingly died in the pulse as well.
Yeah.
Does that seem unusual to any of you?
But did anybody linked to telepathically? Seems like whoever plotted this did their job properly.
Well, and they had a psychic as one of their horsemen.
Songbird?
Songbird could very well have been. She looked an awful lot like what Warren did when he was a member of one of the horsemen, but
could she have done that, killed all the mutants? No, because that happened after by our clocking of the situation, right, Kev? Like
definitely
all the psychics weren't dead when we came in the dome. And when we came out, they were all dead, and she was frozen that whole time. So
yeah, and they like the Unimind is something like just unfathomably powerful. The Eternals themselves, any single one of them is easily a match for an Asgardian or an Olympian. Like they're effectively god tier as far as gods are concerned in the Marvel universe. The Unimind is the collective of all of their power manifesting together in a gestalt. Charles is still, though, the most powerful telepath on the planet, and Jean's whole shtick is coming back from the dead. And yet, it got through his defenses and killed him, and Jean died, seemingly unreturning. And if nothing else, the two of them would have tried to protect
the other
Scott.
people. Yeah.
You think you would have spoken to Emma about this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how we wouldn't have.
Sure.
Yeah, we need a serious debrief. And if we recovered Songbird's body, did she survive? Is she conscious?
No, she dead. She died.
Okay.
Although if you did the death for her, it seems to have been whatever Black Bolt did. Okay. So whatever Black Bolt did to wipe all the Inhumans out, that was not something that would have only affected Inhumans. Songbird's powers are kind of like the exposed to X substance got Y powers stuff. She's not a mutant. She's not an Inhuman. She died from him as well. So they used Black Bolt's power basically against all the Inhumans. Emma Frost. Let me see here. Do I have? They have her under.
I think you did. You showed us a picture of her previously.
Did I?
I think so. Maybe not.
I don't think so, but let's see here. She's in the compendium though. Let me see here. Not there. Here. There we go. Just want an image for you guys to have in your head of her in her diamond form. There we go. There's Emma. That was her secondary mutation. Her secondary mutation developed when Genosha was eradicated by the Omega Sentinels. So this is now her second mass death event that she's been witness to. Previous time she was able to transform back. She seems to be still in this diamond form now.
I don't blame her. If whatever's out there hunting telepath is still there, then I wouldn't want to change back either.
Okay. So the reason I want to draw attention to this because Emma can be prickly at the best of times.
Yeah.
She is the one who. The reason Kitty Pryde is part of the X-Men is because she ended up getting kidnapped by Emma Frost.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I remember back when Emma was a bad guy.
Yeah, she's never really quite fully outgrown that.
Yeah.
So.
I know she's led the X-Men at certain times, right?
She's been a co-lead with
I think Charles
Scott Summers.
Yeah.
With during the time when her and Cyclops were together. It could really, to be honest, I'm not really sure what has happened in the last like 15 years of X-Men. So quite very well have been in that case as well. There was a time when Wolverine ran the Jean Grey School for Mutants. I haven't read any of those, but that seems pretty cool.
I'm sure he did a great job.
Yeah, apparently. Like, there's a great bit at the beginning, I guess, where him and Charles were talking, and the advice Charles gives him, he's like, you realize that you're just never going to be cool again. Because you're the instructor. You're the guy who's going to tell people to be in line and whatnot. So you're not going to be cool anymore. You're the, authority figure.
The feeling he wouldn't care, though.
So the if you go and we can picture you're going in to see Emma at some point, and she's, I think, probably you'd find her in the med bay where Scott is. Her and Scott are no longer a thing, but you never stop caring about somebody. So right. She is there. She's not looking at Scott. She's looking out the window down at the Earth. If she does know that you've come in the room, she doesn't give any.
I think I would walk over and actually, put my hand on her shoulder or whatever.
Yeah. And it's like touching cold stone.
Yeah, of course.
She says, no change in his condition, Alex. Not yet. And she looks at you. Nor mine.
Clearly. I've always hated this form.
Don't know. I think it's quite fetching.
You look rich. So, I am here for a specific reason. Could you tell me more about the psychic event?
She doesn't twitch, or at least not that you see. But I think you probably have been around her long enough to know that she pauses long enough in her response to tell you that it's an open wound for her.
Yeah, of course.
She says, you know how I first manifested my secondary mutation? It was when all my students died at the hands of machines built by humans.
Yes.
It seems that instinct was still in me. Charles tried to shield us. It was a futile effort. And connecting with the Unimind was unlike any connection I've had before. It is not like the gestalts that we use to augment our power. They truly were one. They were all screaming. They knew what was to come. And I think they tried to warn us. The curious thing, in the moment before it happened, there are times when we telepaths use metaphors to describe what we experience. We can hear someone's voice. We can see them. I tell you, in the moment when they died, I heard something. Not as a euphemistic description. I'm certain I heard the beating of wings. What do you make of that, Alex?
Beating of wings.
There are some cultures that say that the beating of wings heralds the coming of death.
Well, there certainly was that.
And she looks at you, and she's got a pretty steady look, you know, and steady gaze when she's at the best of times. But in this form, it's as if a statue is glaring at you.
Yeah.
And she says, I am certain I heard it. There is more to their deaths than simply the death spasms of the Eternals.
Yes.
I could not sense what, which means it was not a psychic manifestation. Something else is afoot.
They were targeted, but not by a psychic.
The timing of its death, and then those wings, and the death of those involved in the resurrection protocols. A telepath will not avail you. Science, I think, is unlikely to benefit you. Find something beyond that. You may find who else is involved with this.
Mm-hmm.
Apocalypse rarely acts alone and on his own. If you suggest that, Gambit, she says, yes. Do you think in these turbulent times that Kurt's former paramour may assist? She's referencing is Amanda Sefton, a sorceress of no small skill, who was Nightcrawler's girlfriend for a time. Sadly, the Sanctum Sanctorum appears to have been another of the targets, so Stephen Strange will be of no assistance in this.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Liana Rasputin might also assist with that, but her exposure to magic seems to be more a matter of her being a conqueror of magical realms than it is a matter of her being a sorceress. Anything further?
No, I will leave you to your contemplations.
I wish you luck in it, Alex.
Thank you.
So you leave her behind. Anything else that you guys think you would have done in that month?
Oh, I did a bit of digging in Gambit's, history, to assess the role before I assumed it. Because I know stuff about him, but I didn't know all of it. But apparently he ended up marrying Rogue at one point, or is married to her.
Yep.
So he'd probably be worried about her welfare above most else.
I saw an interview with, it's not a secular, but I saw an interview with Chris Claremont this week. He was a writer of X-Men for like fucking decades. His original plan for Gambit was that Gambit was going to be a younger clone of Mr. Sinister and was going to betray the X-Men as that. And Mr. Sinister was not like Nathaniel Ethics, what character he's become. He was a kid who had like a psychic projection of like the biggest bad guy. That's why Mr. Sinister looks so ridiculous and has such a ridiculous name, is because it's the name that a child would have for a big bad guy.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I knew about that part. I didn't know about the connection with Gambit as being a clone, like an aged up clone of his. So, but anyway, you did. So
I envision that Rogue is probably out there helping with resistant forces or trying to keep other mutants safe while we're up here figuring this stuff out. So,
yeah.
I mean, because Rogue's so powerful, Gambit usually doesn't worry about her safety too often, but who knows where she had been when the fireworks went off.
Well, in the past month, there has not been any direct action, but like, do you trust humanity to not restart the Sentinel program?
Oh no, Gambit is very much a very cynical man, but he covers that over with jokes and luck will, in the end luck will work out, but
So with Charles gone, with Jean gone, with Scott gone, Alex Storm occupied, what are you thinking of doing? Bobby, what suggestions do you have for this? How do you guys think that the Uncanny X-Force specifically, but the mutants in general, how do you respond to this? There's lots of humans on Earth who are saying that the mutants have tried to murder humanity and that they should be wiped out.
Well, potentially we've got to protect our own, I guess, group up, maybe, regroup as best as possible, find a secure place where we can work on trying to come up with some solution for this.
Gambit would advise that how about we don't all group in one spot because somebody has space lasers and has been destroying things?
Well, I mean, to an extent. I mean, obviously can't all go to one place, but we shouldn't be leaving people on their own or, in small pockets of...
We need to get like a network set up so we know who's still left and what resources we have to work with. Like a net of some sort.
Yeah, go back to sort of more normal routes of communication, emails, phone calls,
Yeah.
the old school sort of way of reaching out.
You have among your numbers a brilliant biochemist named Dr. Nemesis. There's a genius physical inventor named Madison Jeffries. Hank McCoy is a brilliant biochemist as well. So there's plenty of folks that you can work with. What do you want them working on? setting up this kind of XNet that you guys are talking about. I'm picturing that this first month, there's the vast majority of your focus, at least the team's focus, for the team meeting the wider X-Men, has been on relief efforts, trying to get people out of trouble, trying to, what are you going to do with mutants in prison, criminals and things like that?
That's a tough question.
I guess they're in specific prisons, like mutant prisons.
And for specific reasons.
Some mutants are going to be like the X-Men, gifted with lots of powers and stuff like that. Some mutants just, have the face like a reptile.
Yeah, so they're in a more mundane, normal condition.
They're a vast minority, obviously, of the population, but there's enough folks who are just, not every mutant gets to have, good looks and cool powers. Some mutants just have,
I mean, did the professor, did he have like a database? I know he had these Cerebro that he connected into that, but did he have it like on almost like a spreadsheet or some sort of computer version of it as well?
There would be there would be stored records of the scans with it, but Cerebro needs to be operated by a telepath.
So there isn't a sort of database version of it.
There is a database version, but it's not current though. What Cerebro could do was scan across the planet and find like real-time locations of mutants.
But it would give us, some information on where people were, or.
Yeah, and if you're worried about that stale dating, that could very well be what the immediate relief efforts were to do, is to, now that you know where they are, get down and make sure that either they are protected or they are part of the XNet.
Yeah. And have people been looking at, this curse or plague or whatever they want to call it, and they've all decided, that it is irreversible, or there's no chance of coming up with something in the next few years?
It's difficult to say. What's been confirmed is similar to it seems to be based on the Terrigenesis process. It's obviously a little different because the Terrigenesis process only works on Inhumans, and it kills, the Terrigen gas at least kills mutants. This seems to have been a modification by Apocalypse, so it affects baseline humans, but it's effectively rewritten them in the same way that exposure to Terrigen gas does for Inhumans. It's just, instead of having the wildly varied appearances, exposure to this kind of the Terrigen plague has just changed them, so they are no longer there. In Reed's database, which has survived him, there is evidence at some point he did develop a anti-Terrigen process that would undo the Terrigenesis process, but for obvious reasons, he didn't save the materials on that, because that would be a horrible weapon to be used against the Inhumans. And it was undoing the Terrigen process, and while based on it, this has been altered by celestial technology.
Yeah.
One thing you have landed on, though, is a name that you had talked about before. Maelstrom, you may remember, is the son of an Inhuman scientist who was a genius in genetics, and a deviant woman. Maelstrom furthered his father's work, and then dispersed his work among tons of other people, including Nathaniel Essex, aka Mr. Sinister, an agent of Apocalypse. Anybody know how to synthesize celestial technology handed down by way of the Eternals and the Deviants, and the Kree Terrigenesis technology by way of the Inhumans? Maelstrom would be the one who would know. It seems that the folks on Earth are aware of that as well, and a continued hunt. remember that you were working in concert with Shield before. Now that Shield and Sword have left you, they're continuing this hunt for him too, as far as you can tell, to no avail. I think maybe now is when, as well, Havoc, you're informed that Shield and Sword are no longer going to be able to share intelligence. They've been trying thus far to kind of skirt the instructions of their political superiors or their political masters, and to allow you to keep working together.
Yeah.
Letter of the law, not spirit of the law kind of thing. Or the reverse, spirit of the law, not letter of the law. Now they've been directly instructed to no longer share with the mutants.
Utterly ridiculous. They have a 5-year timeline where they know they're going to die, and they just don't want to share information now. This is stupid. Politics.
It is a little stupid.
So,
this is what Gamer would say. Sometimes I wish we were the bad guys, because we could just show up there and show them exactly how easy it is to get to them. And don't mind me, I'm annoyed.
Yeah, no, and I imagine that's the feeling, right, of a month after all this has happened, and not having a chance to catch your breath, and not having a chance to really work on what you want to do next. You're 1 month into a 5-year timeline. So you've had a chance. Everyone else is occupied with other tasks. It's the three of you as the members of Uncanny X Factor who are together.
Well, when it comes down to it, we have to find Apocalypse. I mean, we have to deal with him, but while we do that, we need to, see if there's other means, because science isn't going to help. The tech isn't going to help. We need to get a hold of a magic user and see if there's other methods we can employ, because Gambit feels way out of his league here.
To be clear, Apocalypse is a mutant, correct, Kevin?
Yes.
First.
Are X Factor aware of how his mutant power works?
So, Apocalypse is a mutant that was born around 5,000 years ago, and he's a contemporary of pharaonic Egypt, and his powers his native mutant powers were an enormous amount of control over his body. He could shapeshift and get big and strong and stuff like that. But he also, early in his history, discovered this celestial technology that was used to augment his power. That's where you get that armor that he looks like. So he's not just a mutant. He's a mutant who is intrinsically mixed up and connected to this celestial armor.
Right.
As far as his power set, if you want to know what he is kind of capable of, he can grow, he can stretch, he can blast, he's extremely physically powerful, extremely durable. He doesn't have things like telepathy or psychic powers like that.
Yeah.
Was there something in particular you were curious of?
I mean, Havoc is just thinking, maybe we could find a way to use his power against him. He's more powerful than us, and we're going to try and defeat him. So sometimes one way to defeat a more powerful foe is to sort of turn their own power against them. The way of the, martial arts master, essentially, right?
A reminder again of the reason. Well, do you remember why you were using a lock of Thor's hair to get through the...
because of its celestial or god, its nature. It's...
Yeah, and do you remember how you know that it could cut?
Didn't it pierce his armor beforehand?
Yeah, Thor had used his own blood to imbue Yarnbjorn, his magical axe, when he faced Apocalypse in... It's either the 11th or 13th century. So if you're looking for something that's going to be that Apocalypse will be weak to, God's blood, or things sanctified by God's blood is something that to which the celestial technology or celestial armor is weak.
Maybe can we reach out to the Asgardians?
They've also been silent.
Oh shit!
Thor's been missing as well. Hercules has been missing. The Asgardians, the Olympians, all the gods seem to have pulled back here.
But if they are killed, maybe some of their weapons remain. Maybe we could get our hands on.
Gods are also a little different. Like when mutants die or other humans die or whatnot, there is not, you know, the great beyond. Even if Marvel characters don't tend to spend a lot of time there, it is a bit of an unknown for all forms of humanity. Gods, on the other hand, have prescribed destinations after death. The Asgardians have Hell. The Olympians have Hades.
That's why we need to get a sorcerer of some sort to like maybe do a little leapfrog of dimensions, see if we can locate some of them. Find out what happened.
Actually, Colossus' sister could help with that.
Ooh.
Her teleportation things bring her teleportation discs allow her to teleport around, but she's also able to access other dimensions. She's the queen of limbo. At least at different times in her history, she's been the queen of limbo, but that's one thing she can do. Now, they're very dangerous realms to go to, but
of course.
I mean, what isn't, right? But if the Shining Realms, if Asgard is undefended, Odin is said to have a legendary armory.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, seems like a reasonable option. Maybe we could find some weapons of the gods to help us.
So, I think the hardest thing is going to be convincing his sister to help us.
Yeah.
Do you think that is the next step you should take? Is arming up, or are there other?
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, obviously, Havoc is just like, yeah, let's get the weapons. Let's kill him.
Well, as much as I would agree with you, Havoc, we have to find out how to undo what he's done.
Avi,
Yeah.
what do you think?
He's made it clear this is a 5-year thing. So I think we should regroup, protect those that need protecting first, and then worry about, trying to end this before then. So he would be keen for, like you said, reaching out to people and trying to make people that are in dangerous positions safe first.
Why do you think Apocalypse gave the 5 years rather than just wipe them out?
I think he's lying. It's going to be a shorter timeline than that, but Gambit's going to keep that to himself.
Oh.
I mean, it could be doing it for the enjoyment of seeing, the humans and the mutants going at it.
Or just from a kind of sinister mindset, given people, they know they have a certain amount of time, incentivize a certain percentage of the population to just act out because they have some time, but then they don't. And they've done all the stirring up they needed to rapidly.
What is Apocalypse's maxim? This is motto.
He's about pure domination, right? He wants to be in control.
Survival of the fittest.
Just, yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely a patient kind of guy, but oh.
So,
Yeah, I mean, time's not an issue to him, obviously. But if he's going to kill all the humans, there is no survival of the fittest for them.
He's letting some of them live, apparently, but why? Why would he do that? I assume he's going to be using the humans like the Celestials were doing beforehand to experiment against more, make better.
That's never really been his interest.
Well, If he's a smart villain, he's got plans for what happens after.
So what did Reed tell you about what the Celestials do? The different hosts return. One of those first times they came back and eradicated the deviant civilization because it had enslaved baseline humanity. The fourth host came in recent memory. Remember what they were doing?
Experimenting?
The experiments were what set things off. I'll tell you one of the Celestials' names. Arishem the Judge.
So they're judging their
Humanity.
Right.
Their sorts again.
Maybe you think Apocalypse is trying to get the Celestials to come back?
Maybe.
I mean, he's going to screw up this whole experiment by doing this and unbalance everything.
Apocalypse has removed 2 of the variant races created by the Celestials, as well as a kind of a offshoot inspired by them in the way of the Inhumans.
Tell me his entire thing is a petty scream at the Celestials to make them come back and acknowledge him. That would
acknowledge him like as one of them, like as if he should be a god. Is that?
I mean, it would make sense. He's got this whole thing of like create my horsemen of the apocalypse and
right, bring about the end.
It's always these god complexes. So how do we stop him from doing that?
That's a great question.
Well, you'd have to come up with a cure of some sort for this plague. Just defeating him wouldn't stop that, surely.
You could just make another one.
If you had access, in theory, to Terrigen crystals, or Terrigen gas, Reed Richards had created something like that before. You would need a mind as brilliant as Reed Richards.
So we need some of these crystals. And we need someone to potentially come up with a cure.
We got some smart people on the ship with us. Maybe we should, our first thing would be to find some more sources of Terrigen.
Basically recreate the Terrigen. Okay.
I think one of the things that may have been brought to you too, I'm trying to think of who would be the devil's advocate here. And it's probably Logan, right? It's probably Wolverine would be the one to say, like, if Apocalypse is throwing us against the humans and the humans are spending their dying days getting ready to eradicate us, why don't we beat them before they hurt us?
Because then everyone dies.
We get to them first, Bob.
I mean, you can say that. You heal from everything.
It's not what Chuck would have wanted.
No, it is not.
And basically, you're just doing what Apocalypse wants at that point as well. He wants humans and mutants to go at each other. That's what many people have wanted over the years.
You can imagine Eric's reaction to humans attacking mutants is engendering extreme results or responses from him, which is further exacerbating circumstances. So
Gambit doesn't really blame them for having those reactions either, because I mean, who wouldn't react that way? So it's whether you can control yourself in the reaction that makes or breaks a hero or a villain.
Right.
Gambit has chosen to be a hero, mostly because Rogue would think less of him if he chose otherwise, but it's growing on him.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Bobby was saying about grouping up mutants, putting them in places where people, humans probably couldn't go or wouldn't want to go.
And the only real way to be safe from them is to get outside their reach, and even the moon's not safe because they could throw a nuke at it.
There is one set of hidden communities that no longer have occupants.
Yeah, but wouldn't Shield or Sword know about it?
Shield or Sword would probably know, like they would know the existence of them because you guys knew the existence of them, but like Ashomia, here we go.
Yeah, the place is cold though. And Doom knows about it though.
Once you activate the climate controls, it isn't. Remember, it was because everything had shut down when you guys were there. I'm not suggesting that you necessarily, or at least I'm not advocating for that being the place, but there are a bunch of deviant cities underground, South America, that have no one in them anymore.
Is there a danger of grouping up the mutants together?
Oh no! It'll be fine. They're just like
signals to signals to humanity that we are preparing for a war.
They would definitely think that.
Emma could tell you that Genosha, the lesson of Genosha, is that you don't need an excuse for humans to attack you. Although technically, it wasn't the humans who attacked and eradicated Genosha. It was Cassandra Nova, Xavier's weird, evil twin thing.
Right.
So what do you think, Bobby? Is that the kind of place you could do? There's also other things, too. Like Krakoa used to be a drifting island. You could, in theory, create an island of Krakoa and have it drift around somewhere in the middle of the Pacific. And just not, you have your Krakoan gates that you could transport through to get there. But otherwise, no one else would know where it is. Unless they were,
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is no one's safe anywhere. Well, maybe individuals, but not in large amounts. But at least you can try and protect them. You can try and look out for things. You can, it's easier to protect a larger amount, or at least be looking out for problems when they're together, rather than they're literally spread across the world in a couple in every street.
Another potential place, because of Storm's connection to it as former queen and her relief efforts, the Wakandans may be able to help. They certainly have had experience hiding from the world.
And there's got to be mutants available that also able to help with hiding people in various ways. I still think that should be priority. Try and get people away to at least reduce the amount of conflict, because the less that are around, and then the humans might start looking at solutions themselves and trying to come up with other ideas other than just let's fight mutants.
Gamers over there like, yes, we definitely do that. How? We should also pull a trick, because right now everybody's under the impression that humans are dying and not mutants. What if we spread a rumor that the mutants are starting to get affected too? Doesn't have to be true, but...
Well, the humans aren't dying, they're not walking wounded. There's no... The Terrigenesis plague is a time bomb. Well, remember what happened to the video you saw of the deviants? Just ash.
So maybe we could start misinformation and just make the humans think that the mutants are going to go too, that the virus mutated or something. maybe that'll create enough confusion that they don't go head to head immediately.
Or reach out to all the best human brains and scientists and stuff, and try and share information on trying to come up with a cure, so they can tell that the mutants are trying to solve the problem as well.
Yeah.
Select the right people.
This Gambit wants to, lower the amount of things that, incentivize people to go after each other. Shared problem usually helps with that too.
Right.
Man, I really hate Apocalypse. Brilliant evil man.
He's a bastard.
So what do you wish to do to follow up, investigate?
Oh, I think Iceman's got it. We need to make sure the mutants are safe. But
I can see that your plan is the right path.
And besides, some of these cities have pretty good, technology and science centers there, and they've used Terrigen before, so we might be able to use their equipment to get a jump start.
The Inhuman ones only, not the Terrigen is something unique to Kree technology, so it's unique to the Inhumans, not to the Eternals or to the Deviants.
Well, we can start bringing stuff in from the moon base.
From Adelan?
Yeah, we just need somebody who can teleport now that there's the shields in there anymore.
Kurt could do that, although that's a little far for him. Ileana, magic, she could do that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what Bobby will be working on, is reaching out to people he knows in various countries and trying to coordinate, grouping them up. I think using the Deviants places is a potential good starting place. Not, mass populated, but at least,
Sorry, I just thought of something. Because I'm reminded that Bobby was on a team called the Champions that included, for one, a connection to the Olympians. Hercules was on that team with you, so you've got that connection. You also were on that team with Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider. Do you know someone else who is involved in the magic field?
Ooh, that's the darker magic.
It is, but
Hella call. Maybe they might know what to do.
Magic's magic at the moment, I think.
I'm trying to think of other. Yeah, I don't think any of the rest of you have any specific connections to, sorcerers or whatnot. Havoc's really only been on mutant teams for the most part, except for the Uncanny Avengers. I'm assuming that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are gone as part of the Avengers. Yeah, and Luna would have been in. His daughter would have been on Adelan, so she likely died there, unfortunately.
I mean, when we're trying to recreate or create or update this mutant network or whatever we want to call it,
XNet,
yeah, then we could reach out and ask people as well. Anyone with magic knowledge. There could be people out there that we don't know about or that might be able to help. So try and group up some of those or reach out to some of those. I think we want to try and keep reaching out to Doom as well, because he seemed to have some sort of plan or knowledge of what was going on that he didn't let on by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So we'll keep trying to reach out to him.
Wong is dead as well. I think Johnny Blaze is likely, depending on whether you want to go through Kurt's girlfriend or someone you actually know. Although Blaze is also, he's a fucking nutbag. And can be a pretty dangerous one, depending on how much his Demon is in control, but you were on a team with him.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone should be written off at this stage. This is, serious stuff.
Yeah.
Any chance is got to be worth investigating at this point.
I might draw on some Canadian content as well. Dr. Michael Two Youngman, also known as Shaman of Alpha Flight. He's a magician. And as far as you know, Alpha Flight wasn't affected by whatever the wiping out of the other super teams was.
Okay.
What would you guys like to do? We assume you're getting your support stuff gone, is ongoing right now.
Which project do we want to tackle first?
Yeah. Breaking in, like accessing and then breaking into Asgard's vaults for weaponry, tracking down someone of magic who might be able to tell you something about that sound of wings, or otherwise trying to track down additional information in general.
Well, I think my vote, like I said, would be creating or updating the XNet and trying to get people safe, and during that process trying to identify your shaman, your ghost rider, anyone with magic knowledge, and just concentrate and focus on that for however long it takes to just put a divide between the humans and the mutants as much as possible.
Michael, incidentally, he's human, not a mutant. Oh gosh, you know who else fucking knows him? Come to think of it, it's Northstar. He was on Alpha Flight's team.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Jaden wasn't able to join today, but Northstar knows Michael. So I think we know which magician you need to call on then.
Yeah.
So Northstar is going to, JP is going to go and collect him, we'll say, and bring him back by shuttle up to. Do you want to meet? I mean, probably on Damocles base, because that's where you've got Charles and like all the bodies still. Havoc, you go back to your quarters though on Damocles base and tell us what your mindset is as you're heading back. You need to get some rest because you're going to have that meeting with Dr. Two Youngman tomorrow.
I mean, making all these plans, it's this tough tug between hope of something that is gonna work and just this feeling of like dread and like it's like, well, it's all hopeless. What's the point of all this? Like, what are we doing this for? War is coming and everyone's gonna get wiped out anyway. So I think it's this like a very bipolar, a very internal struggle mentally for him.
Well, you're also being thrust back into the position of leadership, not only of the team, but now there's more and more people in the mutant community who are coming to ask you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you may be forgiven for being a little distracted when you walk into your quarters and find someone waiting for you.
Oh, God.
And we'll find out what Victor has to say after our mid-session break, because we're already well past that.
How the hell did you get on our ship?
Then for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. I'm just going to put down. Remind me to unmute myself too, guys.
Yeah, of course.
All right. I remembered to unmute myself.
Okay, perfect.
Havoc. Alex. Appears that a doctor is making a house call.
Yeah.
His back is to you. You do.
Approach him. Dr. Von Doom,
Mr. Summers.
What can I do for you?
It is what Doom can do for you.
Oh, you decided to help us.
His head kind of cocks to the side. It's a testament to the sophistication of his armor that there's not like a creak or any servo sounds or anything.
Yeah. When last we spoke, I didn't think you would.
I was mistaken. He turns to you and he says, Apocalypse has wrought great destruction from my genius. He has tried in his clumsy and inelegant manner to conceal that he stands on the shoulders of doom. The means by which he destroyed the Avengers, Reed Richards and his sickening family. You see there's a twitch in his eye when he says that. These are Doom's plans. Contingencies to eliminate my foes. He stole them. Used them to defeat countermeasures that would have prevented this. Richards, for all his foolishness, you think him not clever enough? Plan for a laser from the sky. It is the genius of Doom that undoes those defenses. And Apocalypse has stolen those. Their deaths are the art of my mind, but not my will. I would atone for this.
I understand.
The hybrid scientist, Maelstrom. You have heard of him.
We have heard of him.
A brilliant geneticist. Not as brilliant as Doom. Who is?
Fair.
His unique physiology, it seems, through his cloning or through the reality of his birth, he seems not to have died as his mother's people did. Doom knows of where a surviving clone of his may be found.
Oh.
But he will not be trustful of either humans nor your kind.
So how do you suggest we approach him then?
In addition to his powerful servants, Gronk, it is said, could grapple with Hercules. He himself is a powerful energy manipulator. You ask how you approach him? I would suggest with care. He places down something on the table. A location. A security. Access. Doom has discovered this.
I'll take the... Is it like a drive or something?
Probably good, yeah, thumb drive or tab or something like that.
Yeah, I'll take it from him.
Your fellow mutant has deemed a war between us so that should it come to this, Doom will be the victor.
Do you believe that there is a chance against Apocalypse and his plots?
I underestimated his willingness to go to extremes. It is folly to steal from Doom. Will not underestimate him before again. And as he's leaving, he stops and he says, "You know the first owner and creator of this facility. One who fashions himself Kang the Conqueror.
Yes.
You know what purpose this vessel served before decommissioned by Richards.
The judgment of humanity?
A vessel of conquest. What else could one who calls himself the Conqueror do?
Of course.
This ship sails not across oceans or even stars. It is time that Kang conquers. I wish you luck, mutant. Doom will depart. And he activates something, and there's a platform that kind of raises up, and he disappears as he's going. What do you do, Alex?
I mean, he probably sits down for a minute and looks at this, drive, and definitely something, obviously what he said there is just going through his mind, that this ship was designed to, conquer time. And so maybe he's, it's sort of the seed of like, well, maybe we need to figure out how this ship works more so than anything else. There's no reason to protect everyone if we can go back and stop Apocalypse before he enacts his plan.
What do you remember about the history of Kang, if anything?
Jeff just knows stuff from the, Loki show.
Okay, so
I haven't read any comics about Kang.
So the Loki show is pretty far off from the comics version of it in many ways. Kang is a latter iteration of the same man who is Ramatut, the what's it called? The Crimson Commander or Crimson Cowl? I can't remember what. It's not Crimson Dynamo. There's another one. Oh, Scarlet Centurion, not Crimson. Scarlet Centurion, and would become Immortus. 3 different iterations of the same thing, and there are also different permutations of Kangs as well. But what's significant, the man who would become Ramatut, Scarlet Centurion, Kang, Immortus, is said to be descended from one or both of the Richards family and the Doom family. Richards was their name originally.
Yeah.
And it's said that he patterned the idea, Kang, of using armor off of Doom. But there are connections to both Richards and Doom through Kang's work. Not for nothing, one of the first things that it was not Reed who developed the first time machine that we see in a Marvel comic. It's Doom who does.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do, Alex? The location is actually a place. It's not necessarily like directly where you were, but it's a place where you did spend some time. Australia.
Mm.
The Outback.
And he said it was a clone of Maelstrom's?
So Maelstrom is, like his father, a master of cloning. He actually clones himself. And if you check Richard's file, it's Ben Grimm who had the first sort of dealings with him, but he's also, Maelstrom's had interactions with the Eternals and with the Inhumans. Maelstrom has 3 minions that he clones, like himself. So if Maelstrom dies, he can have a clone. Come on, this is why, like, he's at hundreds, if not thousands of years old. These are his minions. On the left, we have Gronk, who is a super strong giant who also has strange adhesive qualities to his body. In the middle is Phobius, who has telepathic powers that can induce terror and fear. And on the far right is Helios, one who can control air and whatnot. He has hundreds of clones of these. Whether these were living people or they were creations of his, it's not really clear. They probably were Inhumans at some point, but they're now clones of clones of clones of clones of clones. So he has minions of those likely with them. Location is not very big, so it'll be under a base that, if you compare it to the SHIELD database, you thought abandoned. But Doom says that one of Maelstrom's active clones is there. If the deviant, whatever that virus was that wiped out the deviants, imagine that half of your genetics are that. What the fuck does that disease do to you then?
Right.
You have a meeting
Yeah.
with, what do you tell everyone else, Havoc?
Well, I'll probably try to get them aside before the meeting and sort of relay this. Doom showed up. He gave me the location of Maelstrom's clone. He admitted to me that the destruction of the human hero bases was stolen technology from him.
Yeah,
And
the attack itself would have been Apocalypse's technology. The way of defeating the defenses would have been.
Okay. The method of defeating them.
Yeah.
Was a plan that Doom had created, and I believe he feels some guilt over this, believe it or not.
Guilt? Probably just upset somebody took his stuff, played with his toys.
It seemed like more to me.
Doom has feelings? Okay.
Reed Richards and Sue Storm, they have 2 children, right?
Yeah.
Remember their names?
Ooh. No, but I remember the power set of the first one pretty well.
So the second is their daughter. You guys want to guess who named their daughter?
I think it was Doom.
Her name is Valeria.
Seems like a Doom
Just
name.
either, I can't remember if it's his mother's name or his first love's name. Yeah, he saved Sue's life so that she could give birth. The one thing that Doom could achieve that Richards could not. So he named the daughter Valeria. It is believed was in the Baxter building when it was destroyed.
Okay. Guess he does have feelings then. Okay.
Doom basically conquered a country and developed technology so he could go to hell and rescue his mother's soul. Doom could easily be said to have feelings to a fault.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, being more serious, like, bad guys, they tend to care about things personally to them, but yeah, I mean...
I think it's one of the reasons Doom is such an interesting villain. It's just because he's got, more than just mustache-twirling villainy. So, what do you guys make of that? Of what Doom said?
So how are we going to make use of this? We can't stop what already happened, right?
Well, you did say something else of interest. This ship, it was not built just as a spacecraft, but it was built to conquer time itself. Maybe there is something to this vehicle that we have yet to understand or unlock. Maybe something that Reed himself did not even uncover.
Like time travel?
That's what he hinted at.
When Kang appeared and conquered the world using it, it's because he traveled through time, brought his vast legions from the future, and deployed them. It was Reed who decommissioned it with the assistance of like Hank Pym and Tony Stark to make sure you don't want to turn over to S.H.I.E.L.D. or anyone else a giant time-traveling battleship. I mean, all that decommissioned technology would be either in Avengers Mansion or in the Baxter building. So all you guys need to do is go, oh, wait. No, I remember now. Yeah. Bobby, what do you make of Doom's involvement here?
Well, it's good to see that he's realised that he's up against it as much as we are, and he's sort of reaching out to try and help. So it's good to have another potential ally with contacts. He's obviously got contacts and ways to. I think we need to reach out to this maelstrom and see if he can shed any light on our predicament. So I see it as definitely more positives.
Guys, if Doom had contingency plans for getting around the security of the Avengers, Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, Stephen Strange, the nation of Wakanda, you don't suppose that he might also have contingency plans for Krakoa, Amacle's base? Yeah.
I mean, probably does.
Well, something to consider as
Yeah.
your guest arrives. So JP is off doing something else. So it's Dr. Tu Youngman. Let me think here. Who? I can't remember who among you guys I've officially met. Bobby was gone from the X-Men when Alpha Flight first tried to take Wolverine back, and then when they worked together, Iceman wasn't there either. This was well before when Gambit joined the team, and Havoc I don't think was part of the X-Men at the time either. But let's assume that you guys have like, you've run in similar fields, but you don't really know each other terribly well. Also, JP is not the most friendly of individuals anyway, so it's not like Shaman and North Star were best friends on the team anyway.
Right.
So perhaps when he comes over, he's in his costume, but he's also got like his doctor's or like the lab coat on, the physician's robe, the white jacket. He's got a stethoscope and stuff. And he says, then Jean-Paul told me that you had speaking of which, you know what city he's from?
Ontario?
Calgary.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
Nice.
from the I think it's intended to be the Sitka reservation. It's when I drive back to Winnipeg, it's the shortcut that I take driving through. So he's just outside of south of Calgary. Anyway, so he comes up and let me hold on. Let's see if I can do a Canadian accent. Okay. He walks over and introduces himself, and he says, forgive me, I don't believe we've properly been introduced. I'm Dr. Michael Tu Youngman. Met your brother. I'm very sorry for his illness. I'm certain you have capable physicians here as well. I'm happy to help in whatever way I might to affect his recovery. I'm also terribly, terribly sorry for your loss.
Yes, thank you. It's devastating. All of it. Thank you for coming to see us.
Of course. I'm part of an initiative to try and address this Terrigen plague, but this is a problem I'm certain that Reed Richards could have solved, but it seems that we are quite short of Reed Richards's present. I welcome the opportunity to present a different problem. And from what Jean-Paul says, something more of a mystic nature.
Yes. Well, it has come to our understanding that the psychics were destroyed through some means of magic. And as none of us have much knowledge of the arcane arts, we were hoping that maybe you could shed some light on this for us.
their remains. You still have them? Your
Do
bodies.
we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Would examining them help you?
It's possible if there was a magical component, particularly if it was something primarily responsible, there may be a residue, a harmony that I may yet be able to detect. He gestures, if you could bring me to them.
Of course.
So you have time to, as you're walking through Damocles space, to chat with him. Is there anything that anyone wants to ask him or discuss with him before you guys reach the morgue?
Yeah, what do you guys think?
I got this rash. Could you take a look at...
Yeah. You got a spell for this?
Yeah. Should I get this thing checked out? I didn't have this mole before.
Gambit's been around enough magic. He considers it all voodoo and doesn't want anything to do with it. So.
Okay.
Okay.
So, if you bring him down to the morgue, he's able to... When he gets there, there is a leather satchel that's at his side, and you can see as he's going in there, this thing must have a Mary Poppins quality to it, because he keeps being able to bring stuff out of it that clearly would not be in there. He draws things out and draws sort of it's Charles's body that he brings out, and draws sort of a mystic, kind of circle around it. He places a bunch of objects and such, and then he gets to work on kind of meditating on some kind of thing. He does look back and he says, it's uncertain how long that this will last. You need not wait. I could find you. Though you're welcome to stay. It will not distract.
I think we could come back.
Okay.
Please go about your work.
So he sits down. The three of you step outside the morgue. What are you going to do in the interim while you're waiting to...
Well, there was a brief talk about time travel. Gambit's don't think he's really done that. Like in Days of Future Past, I think he's been involved with some of the stuff, but not willingly going into it. So he's like, if there's a chance of time travel, he's looking up all the lottery numbers.
Yeah. On Days of... So the Days of Future Past incident would have occurred well before you joined the X-Men. But I think...
His first opportunity, he can really get rich if he goes back and play some lottery.
Possibly. Though is that really as fun as stealing?
Well, it kind of is stealing.
So easy, though. Come on.
Yeah.
For a master thief like you?
I mean, it could, yeah, that's true.
Bobby, Alex, what about you guys?
I think he would hang around near and then probably just peek his head round and have a look at what's actually going on. A little bit mistrusting with all the situation that we've currently got, leaving this guy alone with bodies of really powerful mutants and not keeping an eye on them. He's just a little bit wary, I think.
Yeah.
So
reasonably so, yeah. And not for nothing, what Havoc would have told you, one of the last times Havoc encountered Johann Schmidt, aka the Red Skull, he stole a piece of Xavier's brain and had it implanted in his own. So imagine a super psychic Nazi.
Yeah.
You still got that piece of brain?
Does not.
Okay.
No. Though he is active. The two groups that I mentioned, Sons of the Serpent, the Watchdogs, those are things that he was part of before. He had orchestrated them several years ago, around the time when Steve Rogers was briefly displaced as the Captain America and John Walker became the replacement. But it isn't long. You guys are out, and maybe Gambit's talking about getting lottery numbers and time machine, and Bobby, you're thinking you're going to stay and watch, and Alex, we haven't even heard what you're going to do. When you hear a massive crash from the morgue.
Rush in, definitely.
What you see is it looks like everything has been scattered. Michael is pushed all the way back against the other wall and has a look of kind of shock on his face. And the way things are spread out, it's almost as if like a gust of wind hit, scattering the dust and whatnot that he had used, or sand that he'd used to create the circle. He looks up at you and he says, "What involvement have you had with Asgardians of late? And why would the goddess of death have interest in you?"
Well, we did use a piece of Thor's hair to break a celestial barrier.
Souls of your friends have been claimed by Hela, the Asgardian goddess of death.
That is odd.
If he inspects the others, including those who were not part of the psychic bonds, they've all been killed by Asgardian magic. Psychics, they definitely died from the pulse from the Unimind. He's also a physician, so he can do, corroborate the autopsy that either Hank Pym or someone else, performed. Dr. Nemesis, maybe. But what he can tell you is that the souls, for the metaphysical component, the sound of those beating wings that Emma described. Hela came in and snatched them. She outright slew those others. What does the Asgardian goddess of death have to do with any of this?
Can we just straight up ask her with your magic?
My magics, while seeming impressive, I have no access to her realms. Hers is the realm of death. And she is not open to pleas from mortal sorcerers.
It's getting more and more complicated.
Extremely.
Gambit will just turn on his heel and look directly at Havoc and say, right in front of the shaman, and say, "You think we should talk to Pietra's sister? Just go knocking on her door? Ask her directly?"
So he says, Scarlet Witch was in Avengers Mansion. Mr. LeBeau.
Oh.
Well, the amount of death, deviants, the Inhumans, the Eternals now. So many heroes. With all that Apocalypse has been doing, I am not certain any have questioned where their souls have gone. You had access to Atalan? Jean-Paul told me you found a way of accessing and found them. Might I impose to have him take me there? If there is any residue of Hela's influence there, I should be able to find it, and can take greater care, now knowing what to be cautious of.
Now we have gods involved.
Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll just ask if this goddess of death has got their souls. Does that mean there's a chance to bring them back?
Asgardian mythology is, as with all mythology, more impression than accurate record. There are those who have returned from Hell's realm, both in myth and, as I understand it, Thor returned from Hell's realm at one point. Mythology also tells that those who pass into it are in her domain and in her service. They may be bound to her, and with the depth, the scale of which we have seen, and the threat of death is a scale not seen on this world since the loss of the dinosaurs. If she could lay claim to those to augment her legions,
So maybe Apocalypse made a deal with her.
Yeah, he's working with her. Surely she potentially will become more powerful than him if she's got all of these in her army.
Indeed.
Why would he make such a deal?
That I cannot. I cannot say. Why would he?
Oh, right.
This is speculation. Unless you have any other questions, I wish not to leave you with misplaced hope. But any hope in these days is something.
It certainly is.
It is not unprecedented for those who have traveled to the afterlife to return.
That is true.
He looks over at one of the, kind of, what do you call them, the cupboards or whatever that has the corpses in them, where Jean Grey's is, and he says, "Indeed, I've some among your number who truly do live up to their names, rising again and again.
Some of them do.
You can take some solace from that."
To have them back would be amazing.
Indeed. We would all be better equipped to address our common foe. Anything else, guys, before JP takes him to the moon?
Well, thank you for your help and your information.
He shakes your hand and he says, "If I find anything further, I have others I can consult with on a confidential basis."
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Safe travels, friend.
And to you, best wishes in seeing your loved ones home.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
He, before he's leaving, would say, "There was a time I thought my daughter lost in an unnavigable realm of madness, she returned to me. The impossible when dealing with such things is not impossible. He will leave and go to the moon. Or to Adelan, I guess, more specifically. What do the three of you make of it while Dr. Two Youngman is doing his investigation?
I think Bobby, I don't think he's very clued up in the magic stuff, obviously. He's seen bits and pieces, obviously. But I think that would give him, quite a boost. I think it'd be the first time you've seen a bit of a smile on him. And it's like he'd say to the others, we've got hope. This is the best news we've heard in months.
There certainly is hope.
Let's build on this. Let's spread the word that maybe there's hope.
None of you were involved with the event, but you know that some of your teammates, or at least those of you who were on the... Actually, no, you're all X-Men, so some of your former teammates have been to Asgard and substantially involved in Asgardian stuff on at least 2 occasions, one of which involved Alpha Flight.
Right.
Hela did have a significant part in the end to that. She did promise to one day claim Logan's soul.
Well, she missed out this time.
After some investigations among Adelan, what Dr. Two Youngman can confirm is that there's the same presence of Asgardian magic there. It's quite possible that she claimed all of the dead that were there.
So those killed by Asgardian technology or magic become accessible for Hela to claim?
It's not that they were killed. They were definitely killed. At least there seems to be no question that they were killed by the perversion of Black Bolt's power. But once they die, their soul needs to go somewhere. And that is where she has intervened and stolen them. That's millions there.
Gambit, always the stirrup of trouble. He's wondering if there's another god of death we can talk to and tell her that Hela's been picking off her some souls. And
you know that Pluto, Bobby, one of the many nights you've had, drinking with Hercules, he would talk about his very fucked up family, which would include his uncle Hades, and he's had dealings with him. His uncle Ares. Wait, is Ares his uncle or his brother?
You never know with Zeus.
Yeah, true enough. I can't remember if it's I know Athena is Zeus's daughter. Pluto and Neptune are brothers of Zeus, son of Zeus and Hera, so it would be his brother. Yeah, so his brother, Ares, and Pluto. Other gods of death that you may have encountered in the Marvel Universe include members of the Egyptian pantheon. Is it Tezcatlipoca? Is the Aztec god of death and night, I think. And Charon, the boatman, in Greek myth as well, who navigates the realms of the dead. Those would be just some ideas. Then, of course, there is Limbo, where Magic's demons go, and Hell, where Johnny Blaze has not been altogether, unfamiliar. Actually, Doom as well. Doom has traveled to the realm of Mephisto. Try and claim his mother's soul. Right, Kev, are you just fucking throwing out trivia? A little bit. Yeah.
I might have queued it up, so, you know.
So what do you guys think?
Gambit's perspective on it's like if one god's sticking their finger in, why don't all of them do it?
Right.
Do some mutual self-destruction here. Make people behave properly. Although, if we do end up going back in time and stopping this, Hella's going to be pissed.
Yes. So...
Yeah, I think there's no way we can tackle gods and apocalypse and all that at the same time, but if we go back in time and stop it from happening, that's probably our best shot.
I think we need to, if we are to go back and stop this, we need to understand who is involved beyond apocalypse.
Gotcha.
Because...
Doom's plans for the weaknesses that got out that allowed it for it to happen in the first place. So that's one thing we can put a pin in. Stop that secret from getting leaked.
Right.
What was that trying to say again?
The plans Doom had for like taking down defenses, if we could stop that information from getting leaked or stolen, that's one thing we could actually have more superheroes to help us.
Who survived?
Yeah.
If you run through the list of, this would be the point where if you're trying to figure out where you could get some help from too, there's that big screen full of the little headshots of everybody with red X's across most of the screen.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking like after time travel shenanigans, if we can stop certain things from happening, there could be less X's.
So the time travel thing, it's great that you're thinking of doing that, but it's without understanding of how the guts of the machine actually works or can be built.
I know it's a long shot.
Well, at this point, it's an impossibility because like there's precisely one person on the planet currently alive who has successfully developed time travel technology, and that was for a little platform. And even he, in his overwhelming confidence, has used it only a handful of times.
Yeah, so that's moved to Plan Z or Z, whatever. So it's maybe going to look into the gods again then. The weapons,
I mean, more than ever, I feel we need
Hela.
the tools of the gods to combat this. Everywhere we turn, there's forces beyond our capabilities.
I mean, over the last month, have we made good progress with XNet and trying to secure, various mutants?
Yeah, like your relief efforts, I imagine that's what the last 4 weeks have been chewed up doing is you've got some kind of... Where do you think that recognizing that you've got Krakoa as sort of a safe place you could use, but that is a central location. You got Damocles Base now that has plenty of... This used to be full of Kang's conquering armies. And so there's always extra space even with the SHIELD support staff. Now with the SHIELD support staff's pulled out, you got plenty of room for refugee mutants.
So that frees us up to, maybe looking into the weapons of the gods.
Yeah.
As a new plan of action. How would we go about such a thing?
Breaking into Asgard.
With Doom's intel, anything you're doing with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very dangerous place to go. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, Doom's intel was to speak to this Maelstrom
Yes.
clone, yeah?
Yeah. And he's in Australia, but my point is he's dangerous.
Oh, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
We could give it a shot. I mean,
And Grimace defeated him. And if, Aunt Petunia's favorite nephew can take care of it, surely you guys can.
can we just talk? I mean, the end of the world.
Unlikely. He is quite mad, and we're referring to him as a clone. He's always been clones. Like he's because one of the way he's lived for this long is through cloned bodies.
Right.
So it is a clone, but like he's got hundreds of clones, and that's how he's continued to persist throughout this time.
Right.
What his power is, by the by, is over kinetic energy.
Oh, okay.
He can also grow by manifesting it. So he's a formidable foe when he's at his best, but who knows how the deviant virus has impacted him.
Right. He might be half dead, so to speak.
Yeah, or he may be dead. Like, I mean, if there is this, imagine you're, if anyone is an equal to knowledge of the use of Terrigen and inhuman genetics, it's this guy.
Yeah, I don't think we got much choice. We have to go talk to him or beat him into submission if we can and get some information from him.
I mean, Doom's a lot more intelligent than any of us three, I think it's fair to say. And he's, give us his whereabouts
briefly sorches into the room. Yes! And then shoop goes out.
Yeah, all right.
Jog on, Doctor!
So I think we should, at least try. I think we should try and reach out and make contact.
Okay.
Cool. Don't think it's going to be as easy as like sending a postcard or something. We're going to have to hunt him down.
Well, we've got his location, haven't we?
And the security
supposedly.
access.
And access, yeah.
Well, it's half the fun.
What is this place that he's given us access to or security?
It's like it'll be like generic, superhero or supervillain secret lair number 6. Like it's going to be underground lair where there's a bunch of probably tons of genetic stuff there. There are going to be backup clones there.
When he said security access, is that like to take down security or just get in?
To disable security. So really you should only be dealing with the minions, because that's the things he keeps cloning, and you see over and over again. And Maelstrom himself. But like all good, cornball supervillains, he tends to send his minions in first and then follows up with himself if they can't deal with it.
Yeah.
One thing to consider then is knowing who Maelstrom's minions are. Gronk is super strong and can adhere to things. Helios can fly and control winds. Think like storm, but no lightning bolts and no rain. And Phobius is a telepath. Physically unimpressive, but he can cause intense fear and terror. Is there any strategies?
I was going to say, have we got anything that can counter any of that? Equipment-wise or knowledge from any of our...
What would be your powers? You guys have some pretty impressive... or a pretty impressive variety of powers. You have a plan for trying to neutralize any of these guys, or how best to engage them?
I can blow them up.
What would Charles suggest?
Let's have a look.
Yeah, so... I mean,
which of those three do you think is the most dangerous?
Probably the one with the phobias.
I mean, I'm pretty fearless, which helps me conquer fear.
Oh, I mean,
But-
we've all been in those situations, but if they can make us see things that aren't actually there.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, Gambit is a pretty face with a cannon, and don't want to turn those on his friends.
Is there any way we can isolate them, do you think?
Helios is likely the most mobile, and the records you've got from the Fantastic Four on Maelstrom would suggest that he's the one who actually transports the other two. If you want to cut down on their mobility, dealing with Helios would be one way of ensuring they can only either walk around at Phobius's rate or lumbering around at Gronk's rate.
I mean, I could try and imprison him. I don't know how strong he is to break out.
Havoc, you're the leader. What do you think of how best to deploy your team here?
I mean, I definitely focus fire and yeah. Sorry, what was the middle one's name?
Phobius. Put in chat,
Phobius,
sorry.
yeah. If we could, focus fire on Phobius, I do think that's smart. Oh, there you go, left, right. I mean, Gronk is obviously going to try to protect him, and Helios is going to also probably try to stop us from interacting with Phobius.
Yeah, and Gronk's got the weird adhesive quality that he can trigger and turn off. It's been powerful enough to keep Ben Grimm and Hercules trapped.
Yeah, I don't think we can get close to him.
He does need to be conscious in order to activate those things, so there are ways around it, but...
Mm-hmm.
He needs to breathe, yeah?
They're all dangerous. So we could try to contain Gronk and then focus fire and take out Phobius as fast as possible. Maybe
Yeah, I guess he's less mobile than the others.
right.
He's fast.
They definitely seem to rely on Helios for getting them around. At least based on the reports that, the after-action reports that you guys have read.
Right.
Try and keep him at a distance if we can, for as long as we can. But
Okay.
easy that is.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
Okay. So it sounds like you've got a strategy. I just want to give you guys, knowing what their capabilities are, to give you an opportunity to plan teamwork.
Right.
Also, that does tie into the game. Yes, guys. What we haven't done before, you're setting out on a mission, is have you pick your teamwork benefit.
Oh, yeah.
So team maneuvers are on page 38 of the Marvel book. You guys are rank 4. No, yeah, 4. It's a 4? Yeah, it's 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Means you can pick up to maneuver level 2. On page 38 and 39, there are offensive, defensive, and rally team maneuvers. The team maneuvers cost 10 each, 10 focus. You guys can pick one of them.
What did you say? Level 2, sorry.
Up to level 2.
Up to level 2.
You guys could get the level 2 offensive, which is just to be clear, when you activate it, activating a team maneuver can be done only at the start of a round. To make it happen, each team member involved in the battle must be able to communicate with each other, and they must pay the required focus cost on their own. If a hero cannot pay the focus cost, they have the option of spending a point of karma for themselves instead. For those who, for whatever reason, cannot pay the cost, they do not get to enjoy the benefit of the maneuver. So the maneuver's benefit. Unconscious or demoralized team members do not have to join in and pay the cost, but if they somehow manage it, they can take advantage of the benefit too. So these include team members can re-roll all their dice on an attack for that roll they make this round. They get to use the better result. That's the offensive team maneuver. I believe they last for 1 round as well.
Oh, yeah.
Maneuver number 2 for the defensive one. Team members all have damage reduction 4 for this round. Remember, that's that minus thing, so we reduce the damage multiplier. That's like being as tough as Colossus for 1 round. And then rally team members, each member of a team can make a recovery roll for either health or focus as if they had spent a point of karma.
Also interesting.
I mean, personally, I think that defensive ones, that is big. That's it doesn't negate damage altogether, but it's as close as you're going to get to it.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge benefit.
That's basically a round of sort of not taking damage, or very close to. I think that would be my preference if I had one. But
I agree. It's a very powerful effect. The timing of which is crucial, I feel.
Yeah, at start of the round, you spend the things, and it's once per battle. So picking that one round where you're likely going to benefit the most from the maneuver. I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to do it before it's too late, and you got to do it sort of right at the right moment. I like it, though. I agree. I think that the defensive one is most likely to save our bacon.
yeah, if that big guy gets to grips with us or gets close,
Yeah.
might be a good time.
Remy, you good with that?
I'm good with that, yes.
Oh, did you talk when you were muted?
Yes.
Hey, Tomo.
Oh, Tomo.
We didn't do that once last night.
And we had George there.
We was muted quite often because of,
Because
young kids. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, then the last thing we'll end with, we'll kick off with you guys arriving in Australia, I think, at the start of our next issue.
Yeah.
What I want to give you an opportunity to do, though, is to draw some intel that you have been accessing through the XNet. So, what questions do you have about what's going on Earth that you'd like to see addressed or like to see answered?
Remy's just going to get depressed if he keeps hearing about, what's going on down there.
This could be in relation to what the humans are doing. It could be in relation to what leftover like what with the FF, with the Avengers, there's Thunderbolts, the Ultimates, Doctor Strange gone. There's a whole bunch of supervillains that no longer have adversaries who may still be out there.
Right.
I personally think I would want to get back in contact with and working with SHIELD. Try and get some coordination back, whether it be through the normal pipeline or by bypassing that and some sort of backdoor sort of access to try and keep each other in the loop and work together as best as possible to try and, like you say, deal with the bad guys that are still out there.
Yeah.
and any research that we're doing, that we might be able to get some information and pass information and back and forwards, and just coordination between Shield and us. Try and re-establish that.
You think there's like a specific agent or like a young agent or something like that that you may have got along with? Or on a more sinister note, have you guys sent someone into Shield? Like, for instance, Raven Darkholme, aka
Mystique. I was just thinking of that.
Well, surely they would have mutant scanners to detect mutants.
Right.
But could we have someone on the inside that's not a mutant, that's still,
a friend of the mutants?
A friend of the mutants.
Yeah.
Well, someone who's on the same page of trying to avoid war, basically.
Yeah, because they must be up to their eyeballs in like mutant criminals, and there must be all sorts of havoc going on, and they've got no help from the mutants potentially at the moment.
Yeah.
So they've got to be up against it, and probably they're screaming out for help as well, I should imagine, and all their bosses or leadership are saying no, you can't have any contact with them. So I've got to expect that there's going to be sympathizers inside Shield that we really need some mutant help here to deal with some of these issues.
Yeah. So
hopefully, if we can, if we haven't already got someone in there, find someone.
So let me give some thought to it. There's no one offhand that I'm thinking of yet, but I'll bet you I can find somebody cool for that. But I'll tell you what you find is the U.S. government is turning back to an older program of which you would be well aware, called Project Wide Awake. Project Wide Awake has had a number of different outcomes from its initiatives. One of those is the Sentinel program, and another is the Nullifier. A weapon that Forge, another mutant, helped develop that removes a mutant's powers. Storm was affected by a Nullifier for a number of years. That project is back up and running again.
Oh, great.
Which means they are developing new Sentinels and potentially trying to recreate the Nullifier technology.
Dear Magneto, here's some coordinates you would like.
Why is that? And like Magneto is, because as you can imagine, there's just horrible things being done to mutants at times to however, rooted in long-term bigotry it is too. It's also going to be informed by like existential terror of knowing you're going to die. All your kids are going to die. Everyone who's alive right now, who's human, is going to die in 5 years. So Magneto is responding to those horrors in kind, as is his way. So, Magneto is, in his mind, and if you do address him on it, likely says like, well, what would you have me do? Nothing. I will not coddle them while mutants die.
So the best things about the villains that are written well is you tend to agree with them most of the time.
There's a great shtick that came during Grant Morrison's run on X-Men, where a bunch of the as counterculture shirts, the kids who were students at the X Mansion, they'd wear shirts that say Magneto was right, and have Magneto's head on it.
Of course.
I mean, he can be right and wrong at the same time. That's
yeah, because it's exacerbating. Like it's the thing though that all the naysayers and the bigots will point to as being like, this is why we need to have this project. So that's what you found, Bobby. Alex and Remy, anything you guys would want to look into or suss out through the XNet?
I think Remy may just try to use his criminal connections to kind of see how the criminal underworld is handling all of this. Because I'm more like the organized bit of it. Because knowing that you're just gonna die in 5 years, but must be uprooting like tons of their plans and goals and.
Yeah. I mean, crime flourishes in times of desperation, and there's no shortage of desperate people right now.
In 5 years, enjoy what you steal. I mean, even right now, Grammy's like, why would I steal anything? There's no point in it.
Or people promising cures or promising ways out or things like that. Yeah, it's a bit of a. Right now, it's sort of everyone, is eating well. What you would also say is that there's something centralizing among some of the more organized, not like the Magia or whatnot, but some of those other like splinter groups. Like there's sort of been a reinvention of the group called the Power Broker, which it uses like Marvel sci-fi technology to try and like augment power. They're saying that that's a way of physically transforming. So that you could transform yourself and make yourself immune to the apocalypse plague. That's what the humans are calling it. That seems connected to the Watchdogs, which seems connected to there's a group called Ultimatum that is basically a anti-nationalist group that wants to see borders drawn down to have a unified world. They're seeing a resurgence as well. And historically, the person behind Ultimatum, the Watchdogs, Power Broker, Red Skull,
Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
It's popped in my head immediately.
See, it's funny. So Hydra, he's part of Hydra, or is he associated with Hydra? It's actually Baron von Strucker, who's more often associated with Hydra in the Marvel comics than what Red Skull is. So Strucker is a way fucking cooler villain in the comics than he was in the films, unfortunately. A dude who gets punched out immediately is a way less impressive villain than the guy who has the Satan claw and has come back from the dead thanks to a demonic entity worshipped by immortal ninjas. Havoc.
Yeah.
You have government connections still too because of your time with X Factor, the government team. You have contacts with the superhuman community as well.
I guess, he would want to know, I mean, especially with some of the information that Bobby's bringing back about, like, is there a faction who is still looking towards peace? Like, is there division in their ranks, so to speak? This sounds like war, they're preparing for war, clearly. So is there some amongst the leadership or the ranks that are pushing for peace and for a unified solution and not,
there are
war, basically?
There definitely are. So yeah, you can feel that too. And also, you were an Avenger at one point as well, because on the Uncanny Avengers team, the Unity Squad, you were on the Avengers team along with Scarlet Witch and Thor and Rogue, and I can't remember who else was on that team on the Avengers side, but which is to say that you may actually have contacts with the Avengers organization then.
Right.
Which means there may be other ways of accessing Avengers tech and stuff like that. But your question, I'll tell you, the voices for peace are setting aside those who just want to react with violence within it for no reason other than violence. There is a line of argument that seems to be growing more support that's kind of based on a conspiracy theory that the mutants have a cure.
Oh.
That they have to attack you, like charge down break down the doors of Krakoa and break in and steal because the mutants have a cure.
Right.
And that those who don't want to just be bigots, who just don't want to, be involved in a last spasm of violence before they die, those who are desperate to try and find hope, that's something that is getting more and more support.
Interesting.
From those who would otherwise, be disinclined. It's probably Val Cooper, actually, your contact in the government, who she was a liaison for Freedom Force beforehand and then X Factor afterwards.
Yeah.
Val's the one who
information I'm getting from Val.
Yeah. So like, if there's a way of dissuading that, but like even giving it credence, it's one of those things. Like she assumes you don't have it.
Right.
But the more you deny the existence of this, the more those of that mindset are just going to think that it exists. And there's a lot of desperate people looking for hope right now.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. That's good to know.
A lot. This is not a non-sequitur, but there is one other group that is seeing ascend. It's the U-Men. And that's not me mispronouncing human. It's the U-Men. A splinter sect. What they've traditionally believed is that you could perfect the human form by basically surgically removing mutant gifts and implanting them in yourself. They are seeing an ascent, again, as a cult of people believing that by implanting mutant organs and things like that in yourself, that you will survive the apocalypse plague by becoming mutants. So, organ-legging fanatics is another threat that mutants are facing presently.
Right. Gross.
Yep. So, with that, we will be setting ourselves up for next issue of going to the back to Australia for you, Havoc, and to the outback to find Maelstrom's lair. But guys, I don't think we rolled a single dice today.
No, we didn't.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for part 4 of our... Oh, thanks, Havoc. Cap, Thor, Scarlet Witch, Wasp, and Wonder Man. That was who was part of Unity Squad. So, of those... Well, I mean, it's not the first time that Simon Williams has died. Maybe he'll come back as an iconic energy form once again. All you needed last time was for Scarlet Witch to believe in love enough, and oh wait, she's gone too. But for those listening, thank you so much for joining us. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and we have a channel there dedicated. I don't think we don't have one for Marvel Multiverse itself, but we do talk about. I think we've talked about it on the Assorted Games channel before. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. There's also not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs, like any of the previous Marvel RPGs. In addition, if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code NOBLEDM, all caps, all one word. It's in the description of the video. That'll save you 10% on any purchase of $10 or more through their website, and that discount code is good until March 15, 2026. If you're listening to this after that time, just come back to one of our more recent videos. You'll see what the current discount code is. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to the stalwart members of Uncanny X Factor. So John, Darren, and Jeffrey, thank you so much for playing today, guys. Congratulations on witnessing the end of the world. I'm sure it'll end up well for all of you.
Oh, yes.
So, for those listening at home, we'll be back in the Marvel Universe in 2 weeks' time. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that are besetting the Marvel Universe and our merry mutants. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, happy gaming, and make mine Marvel.